Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 266, and we're back. We're virtual today, but it won't be any less fun. We got a lot to talk about, especially since today is Super Bowl Sunday.
That's the big reason we're doing this distanced, so we can have fun. We're doing this really early in the morning. It's going to be 9 o'clock for all the mole people. But the reason, so we can have a couple of bigger beers and not worry about transportation back and forth, especially on the day of the Bowl of Super.
That's true. And actually, a lot of radio shows say the big game, and I believe there's some sort of copyright around that, which I disagree with. But is there something about that? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about.
Did we not say the big game?
The big game. This is the beauty of the big game copyright.
The big game.
But they say it. NFL's trademark defense for the big game. Unlicensed. They might have to. The NFL attempted last year to trademark the phrase big game, but voluntarily abandoned their trademark application after 20 people or 20 different entities.
With probably powerful lawyers.
Yeah. I was going to say it's McDivitt. McDivitt is Jerry McDivitt was Vince McMahon's private attorney. So, but anyways, we don't want to get into that. But anyways, they tried to trademark it and then abandon it because it was going to be too much.
Well, litigation. I think they do own the SB. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say it at this point. I might get DCMA'd here, but I think they did that originally to get rid of people being able to say like, this is the Super Bowl of wrestling, or this is the Super Bowl of beer or whatever. But I actually think that's a bad idea. I think you should want your big event to be synonymous with, because now they say World Series. If you think about it, most things are the World Series of, like poker or whatever. World Series of something.
Maybe it's hard when you go with the world, because then you go to like the world courts or whatever, because look at the the WWF, got lost to the World Wildlife Fund. And that's why we have WWE now.
Yeah.
Because anytime it's world, it goes outside of it goes to the world courts.
Yeah, basically. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Who are the world courts? What is that? The UN?
No, it's in the Netherlands, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The world court. Where's the world court? Where is the
world court?
But yeah, that's the Den Haag. Yeah. So the Netherlands. I've been to the world court. I didn't think that was when Slobodan Milosevic's number 2 was getting tried in 2011, and that was we were up on the balcony and we were having to wear. Yeah, Den Haag.
Oh, Den Haag? Because the Hague trials were the Nazis, right?
They were.
Yeah. Interesting. All right.
But what an offer.
I have a reminder, though, real quick. Yeah. I have a reminder that I set because you asked me to remind you about a 5 beer. And I set it for 9:30 and it just came up 3 minutes ago.
Wow.
Look at that. I knew I'd forget.
Okay.
So I'm reminding you. I don't know if you want to tell the story or not.
Oh, the 5 beer. Okay, so last night, I believe that I said that. Was it last night that I told you to remind me?
It was yesterday afternoonish when we chatted.
Okay, excellent. So Stacy got done early with work on Friday. So she's like, "Hey, let's meet at King's Table." I was like, "Great." Because normally she's like, "Hey, let's meet in downtown Dayton." And I'm like, do I really want to? Like, I have to really want to go down. So
it's like a 25-minute drive for you.
Yeah, and if I'm going to have a couple of drinks or whatever, and we're going to pick up the girls, okay. So anyways, go to King's Table, same thing, for everyone. Down and dirty, 57 taps. They do a really good job of curating it and keeping things moving. So one of the beers that I had was described as a cranberry. I'm bringing it up right now. But it was a Blennerweiss, but with like cactus pear, cranberry, and so just an amalgamation of things I would like. So, anyways, I never heard of it before. The brewery is BHRAMARI, and the Chuggalos Bamari looks very Indian influence. The Chuggalos might be asking, why isn't he using his screen share? So I was like, I've never heard of this brewery before. Tam Tot said, so Stacy started looking at her phone. Brewery doesn't exist anymore. They closed.
What? Damn.
They closed 10 months ago. So,
Wow.
Sometimes, people, as we found out from our friends at the Barrel House and other places, people have such a backlog of kegs, that they'll sit on them, pressurized, optimal conditions or whatever. So they can do that. It's not like, they're been bottled or whatever. They're sitting in optimal conditions. So this beer was a 5. And I was like, this is fantastic. No longer in production. The brewery's closed. The beer's no longer available.
Yeah,
and they don't. It's not like Barrel House because I would have bought a 6-pack of it. It was just completely refreshing. Pontoon crushable. Everything was fantastic with this beer. And then gone.
This is why we need breweries to reach out to us early, because we can review your beer. And if it's a 5, think about the change. Think about the change in your business. You might not go out of business. Maybe they didn't go out of business. Maybe they just closed for fun.
Yeah. So we were trying to look up the history. So I brought it up here, and I haven't gone too much into the Reddit, but there's another brewery already in the location. It's out of Asheville. So Asheville's JT's been there. So this is the tie-in with JT. It's just you couldn't on one weekend, you couldn't go and have a quality time at every establishment. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah. Well, I think that, if you ever have a free Friday through Sunday, not just one day, but a few, you and I should drive there. I think we could, because we would go all day Saturday, starting at the very morning. I think we could probably hit, what do you think we could do? Maybe 15 to 20 if we just had one beer, or even just a shared a beer at each one.
That would be probably the way to do it.
I can't drink 20 beers in a day. That'd be crazy, but
I might have to fall off my flights are stupid and do flights or whatever. But even if you do a power list and say like the top 8 and you have a pint at each brewery, that's a lot. I mean, that's
we could do the top 8. I think my sister and I hit 6.
6? And did you hit the heavy hitters, or were there some that just So
we did do Green Man, which isn't a heavy hitter. But the rest of them were Wicked Weed, Burial, all the big ones.
Yeah, the Funkatorium. We could hit like the top 3 and then just do a wheel or randomize the next ones or whatever. Can you scooter? Can you scooter in Nashville?
When we were there, they didn't have scooters, but maybe now.
I could bring my own. It would
make sense for there, but they're like San Francisco. They have a really large homeless population, and I'm not sure the scooters, how that culture clash is dealt with.
Well, they do a good job of hiding it, because I didn't know that they had a significant homeless population.
Yeah. During the day, they're not there. I don't know what happens, but the second the sun went down, it was like insane. It was like crazy. I couldn't believe it.
It was like 28 days later.
Yeah.
Or what's the Will Smith movie?
Oh yeah, I'm Legend.
I Am Legend, yeah.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, it says it was temporarily closed, but now it's permanently closed because there's another brewery that's in there. Anyways, amazing beer. Glad you brought it up, a reminder, because again, I totally would have forgot that story.
Yeah,
would have been lost to the ether. But to discover that a 5 was permanently closed.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, you make a 5, you've done it. You've reached the pinnacle. At least on the Brew Crew podcast. You become legend. Now, one comment on the spelling of that. There's a band that I've been listening to for a few years that I just want to outshout, because they're starting to pick up steam. Very good band, kind of like a post-hardcore. Here's the spelling. Bilmure. Are you good at hearing letters and saying it out loud? Because I'm terrible at that. Bilmure.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray? Oh, wow.
Which is an awesome band name. And the band is very good. So if you guys are into post-hardcore, and I think it's it leans more towards like Dance Gavin Dance than it does the Deftones, but it's kind of in the middle of those two.
They were only a group for 3 years?
Oh, they're not a band anymore?
Well, it just says music group 2007 through 2010, but they still have a current. It's a single.
They have a music video from like a couple.
It looks like a guy. They don't have a wiki page, but.
Oh man, if I just outshouted a band that doesn't even exist anymore, that's gonna be disappointing. But thanks for looking it up.
Yeah, Attack. That's why I love having.
Oh, Attack's awesome. I think they got back together actually.
Johnny Franick. Well, they have a synthesizer. Okay. Now they're known as Attack Attack. They're from Ohio.
Bill Murray?
Well, Attack, but why is it sending
Attack Attack's good. They have a cool song.
But it's
they
not
have
Bill Murray.
Cool songs. I don't know if it's Bill Murray. Now I'm all confused. I'll just outshout both those bands, Attack Attack and Bill Murray, and we'll just move on. This is not even a music podcast, although we could probably talk music for a while.
Bill Murray, they're touring in Ohio. They'll be Lakewood, Cincinnati, and Columbus.
Oh, sweet!
At the end of March.
Nice. That'd be awesome. I should go see them. Their music video's starting to go viral. I guess it's just a guy mowing the lawn.
I'll have to look that up.
Check them out. If you like cool music, check them out. All right.
Well, while I'm getting thirsty, can we crack the first one and then talk about
a beer? Let's crack a beer. Let's do it.
Okay. And because we listen, Chuggalos.
Because we
JT's
listen.
got 47 different silencers over there, so you won't hear anything that you're not supposed to.
Oh, you're bound to hear something. I apologize. I have headphones, T-shirts, everything.
All right. This is a beer that I picked up, and JT's doing his best Vanna White. I mean, Vanna White, eat your heart out. This is Angry Chair, and we always talk about weird collaborations. Angry Chair with Duke's Mayo. Duke's Mayo is out of North Carolina. It's Duke's Chocolate Mayonnaise Cake Stout. It's 11.5 Imperial Sweet Pastry Stout. I'm so excited.
It is.
I handed this one off. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just going to keep going. You go ahead.
I handed this one to JT as he was leaving, and I was like, we're going to go viral this next week, and this is going to be our ticket.
We're going viral. Yeah, we're going to go viral, actually.
All right. You good?
Yeah. Ready?
3, 2, 1. Just clean my keyboard. I sure hope I didn't get anything
got a little on my forehead.
Better there. That's easily cleaned.
Have you had Duke's Mayo?
I haven't, but I'm aware of them because they're. Wow, it's all over my hand. I'm aware of them because of their bowl game sponsorship. That's the only reason I'm aware of them. They're one of the 43 bowl game college football bowl game sponsors.
Okay. What type of glass should I use for this? I have 3 options. What would you say is the glass I should pour this in? I want to try it in a glass.
Whatever one works for you. I'm not really.
Am I supposed to use
tulips for stout?
Am I supposed to use a pint? Got a pint.
You could because it's a stout.
Yeah.
You could use a snifter.
I have the 2 pint glasses, and I know they're both for different reasons, but I don't know what those reasons are. So I'm just going to use a pint glass. See, I knew you'd hear something, so you just heard.
No, that's just the bell. Start drinking.
Oh my God, this is thick.
This is delightful. We're gonna go a little bit while JT's doing the pour. Oh, look at that. Perfect pour. Vanna White, eat your heart out. You can find out more. This is our first Angry Chair. They do a lot of collabs, and as JT showed, their artwork is very definitive. It's very dark and grayscale, with pops of brief color here and there. But you can find out more at angrychairbrewing.com. This is right off the Google website after you do your 21-year-old check, and you go to About, and it's just this. All the further I went, it's just a wall of text. You're probably here for the stout, so they're known for a stout. The first time we've had them on the podcast, so I'm glad that we're doing a stout. There's no line that we won't cross in that area. I think that's outlined by the fact that we're drinking a beer that's crossed over with a mayonnaise company. Always learning, experimenting, and tweaking. And the brewery is, we have they're out of Tampa, Florida. Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. Sorry, Stacy. 1,900 square foot brewery filled with as much stainless as we could possibly squeeze in there. And a 2,000 square foot barrel house where they let things age and ferment. And we brew beer, we age beer, we bottle beer. We're going to can beer, but we definitely drink it. And what's your Angry Chair? You don't like sitting in traffic. Oh, it's what prompts your anger. That's your Angry Chair. You can't stand listening to anger. Yep, you can't stand listening to people talk while chewing their food. That's your Angry Chair. You have one spot of gray hair on your head that just stands up all crazy no matter how much gel you put into it. That's your Angry Chair. Angry chair is a symbolic of a place, time, or situation that you have experienced. Interesting. And tap room, but they have just a bunch of, they list everything that they have in their tap room. And our beers, again, all dark grayscale, metal-esque with just brief pops of color. But again, stouts, Berliner Weiss,
cool.
pale, stout.
It's got that like burial style of art where it's really death kind of similar to like death art or macabre.
It's very macabre. The interesting thing is I've seen Angry Chair often. I would have never guessed they were out of Tampa, Florida. Never.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that either. I wouldn't think a lot of mayonnaise would. Or no, I guess that's Angry Chair. So I don't know where Dukes is out of, but
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay. Well, never mind that comment I was about to make.
I say that with confidence. Florida. I say that with confidence. Dukes Mayo. Yeah, Dukes Mayo Bowl is the first thing that comes up.
Nice.
It's got that twang, and again, if it's got twang, I'm all about it. Where is Dukes Mayo? You can get 10% off at More Dukes. Oh, it's South Carolina. Sorry, South Carolina. I knew it was one of the Carolinas.
Carolina. Don't mix them up. They don't like that.
But this goes into mayonnaise is an excellent starter for a lot of Super Bowl snacks.
That's true. Good point.
Number one snack that JT and the Tea House or group of friends has related to Super Bowl. What's your number one?
What is the
Super Bowl snack?
Super Bowl snack.
I knew I was going to ask this question, and I don't have an answer. So I might be stealing yours.
Well, I think my favorite is chili cheese dip made in a crock pot. Yep. But I have recently just really I've been enjoying chips and salsa. Lime chips, the lime sprinkled chips with salsa.
Like Tostitos?
I can't get enough. Yeah. There's better brands. And then, in fact, the Walmart store brand of the lime chips is like really good. It has more seasoning than the name brand Tostitos, but
interesting.
Yeah. But I like chili cheese dip.
Yep, chips and queso, like my Velveeta chili, and I doctor it up or whatever. And it's just the problem is it's like thick crust pizza for me. I love it. It sits like a lead brick in my gut, and I immediately regret it like an hour or 2 hours later when I just roly-poly around the house. But I'm with you.
Velveeta hardens, man.
Like a chip and dip. On the Duke's Mayonnaise website, there's one thing that popped up. One of my favorite snacks. I don't know how to make it very well, but other people do, and I just lay it out there, and sometimes they just show up. Are deviled eggs. Deviled eggs are fantastic.
Oh man, yeah, my mom makes the best deviled eggs.
I'll awesome. Eat a dozen. I'll eat a dozen eggs just myself.
Yeah, I'll eat the whole thing. I mean, I only don't because other people like them as well. Like in our house, I can't.
Oh yeah. I make sure everyone else
brings them, and I would eat the whole thing. And she knows, like I have a sweet tooth, and I could eat a whole bag of peanut M&Ms. When I say bag, I mean like the one that zips closed because you're not supposed to eat it in one sitting. I don't eat it in one sitting, but I could. The other thing, and it's not even related to the sweet tooth, is I could eat as many deviled eggs as I can fit. I'll just keep eating them.
You'll love this because you know this. You know Karina. So Karina's the same way that you are with peanut butter M&Ms as with Doritos. You put down a bag of Doritos, you'll get a fuck you, and then the bag of Doritos is gone. No
shit.
She will. Wow. She has the best impulse control of anyone besides Doritos. Like it's just. And
if I said peanut butter, I meant peanut. By the way, if I said peanut butter, I meant peanut. But yeah, Doritos. I actually really like Doritos, but that's how the lime chips are for me. Yeah, those they're so addicting. You can't stop. But I get it. Doritos are good. Does she like Doritos Locos Tacos?
They eat a lot of Taco Bell. I don't know if it's come up. I'm going to tell you about impulse control because I've got this just came up, so I'll go off camera. I buy this from Sam's Club, and my daughter kind of helps me a little bit, but this is less than just over 2 weeks.
Wow.
Right? This body
I would have never guessed.
This
Yeah.
body is built by pretzels. Yeah. So like, I know you giggle about like carbs and stuff. Oh yeah. No, I have my carbs. Believe me.
I know. I feel like it's so strict, but yeah, I guess you don't.
It's not.
You do
It's
some
not.
other stuff.
No.
You drink beer, you eat pretzels. That's great. Yeah, good. You have to enjoy things in life. When I was healthier, well, I mean, I'm not unhealthy, but when my body was in better shape and my metabolism was better, my mantra used to really be like, I would see people skipping or going out eating salads and stuff. And I'm like, we're at this amazing restaurant. It's got great food and you're getting a salad. And I thought, if you died tomorrow, you would have been like, wow, I should have enjoyed food more. I don't know if that was the thing, but that's kind of what in my head, I was like, do I really want to just live my life eating salads forever? But now I'm like, well, either I do that or I'd be miserable because I can't fit in my clothes. So I get it now.
I do. This is going to be like a confessional. Sunday confessions with JT and Matt.
Yeah.
I spend more on pants now. Like I buy like the expensive, like the stretchy pants. Not one to accommodate my gut, but I have big thighs and those feel comfortable. But two, a lot of it is with like salads and stuff. I would have never dreamed in my 20s and 30s of ordering salad or whatever. But sometimes I just I want to enjoy and have a lot to chew because chewing is the pleasure, really. The taste or whatever. But like a part of me wonders if I could chew and taste the food and just spit it out. I would probably.
I wonder that all the time.
But it would make me as happy. Like. I eat salads multiple times a week, and the last couple of times I've gone out to eat, like taking employees or whatever out, I've just ordered a salad.
Yeah. I've done the same thing. When I go out for lunch, that's the thing is you feel like, and this does apply to the Super Bowl because we used to, my wife and I have always tried to make the Super Bowl something for the kids. They don't care about football at all. But we've always been like, it's the Super Bowl. We're going to have a little party for the four of us and we'll cook pizza rolls or whatever. But as we got older, it's like, well, we can't eat all this shit. But like when I go out for lunch, when you're in your 20s, getting over full is kind of a joke, and everyone laughs about it. Like, oh, I'm so full, I got to go back to work now. And then you go back to work and you're like tired and full, and you're fine because you're gonna leave. You're gonna still be somewhat ripped. You're still gonna be youthful and not fall asleep at 4:30. But now it's like you overeat at lunch, and it's not a joke. You're like miserable.
Yep.
At least I am. I'm miserable. And I buy the stretchy jeans as well. And not because of my gut, but just because, man, they're comfortable.
So much of that stuff and a lot of our fan base or whatever resonates. And there's a couple of people that are older. And my in-laws were down last week. And I had a question that I wanted to ask them. I go, when did you start feeling your age? And I had my own preconceived notion, and they both listened, so I don't want to say it, but both of them resonated completely with 60, and they're in approaching their mid 60s, but they're in their early 60s, and they're just like, it was just a couple years ago, and that gave me so much, like, because Stacy and I, very similar to you and Caterade, we'll talk about like aches and pains and stuff like that, or just like. A couple weekends ago, like after a day, my calves were just so like, cause I was doing a lot of standing and walking around or whatever. And it's like, man, and there was a point in time where I did feel invincible. So like that resonated with me, but sorry, Stacy, but we got a Jets advertisement and I'm going to order an eight corner pizza here in the next couple of weeks. And I know, and I'm preparing for it. I'm going to limit myself to 2 pieces immediately, and then I'm just gonna let it sit for a little while because I'm probably gonna have a couple of beers with it. But I'm just
now Jets. That's the Detroit style, right?
That's the Detroit style, yeah.
But you gotta let that sit. It grows once it gets in there.
Right, like you said with Velveeta, you eat that high density type stuff.
I know when you feel your age. I don't consider myself to be the age I am in my mind, but I am because I feel it all the time.
I honestly think I could go back to my college and where, because I don't have disc. I feel like there's a couple of bars where I would get not at the bars where they card everyone, where I would get carded, I think, but I've been told multiple times that that's not the case.
like I look at you and I'm like, maybe, but go back to your mindset when you were 21 or 20.
Yeah.
And imagine yourself seeing a 40-year-old. You'd know.
Oh yeah.
There's just differences. We have some
That's why I'm
even
delusional.
unwrinkled, there's kind of like the smile marks in your eyes and everything. Like there's just things that are different that we don't realize that are happening to us, Well,
like,
me, I have gray hair, but
like you guys are the same. You guys have pictures of you guys up around your house, and I've looked at them and very similar to us. And I was like, holy boy, what a baby face. And now,
I know, right? So
not that
younger.
I'm haggard or do like a laborer or something like my dad or anything like that, that leathery type skin or whatever like that. Not pre-tanned by cigarette
wind
smoke.
weathered. Yeah.
Wind weathered. Oh yeah. Just like
wind weathered,
real, not laborers because they were professional, but you know what I'm saying.
Salt of the earth.
Experienced. But
Salt
anyways,
of the earth type people. Yeah.
Fucking, I love these conversations. This beer,
those are good snacks. I agree.
But yeah, and you hit it. Pizza rolls. The number one food that men burn their mouths on is pizza rolls. 100.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Take them out of the oven. Walk away for 5 minutes.
Just take a toothpick and poke them all. Let the steam come out.
Just walk away because you're. And I'm so good. The last couple of times I've had pizza rolls, I haven't burned my mouth. All right. So this beer. JT and we pre-gamed this beer a little bit when I handed it to JT. Mm-hmm. I've known people that have put mayonnaise into chocolate cake. I'm not a big chocolate cake fan, but to keep the moisture in there.
Makes sense.
And I asked JT about this, and as the resident sweet tooth, and JT, you said your response with hearing if people put mayonnaise in a chocolate cake.
My response, I don't like it.
You don't like it? Yeah, see?
I don't think I'd like it. And what you're implying, or what people who are putting mayonnaise in the cake are implying, are that mayonnaise itself is what's keeping it moist. But what they're failing to realize is that mayonnaise is made up of ingredients. It's not like a naturally occurring product. Like it's not eggs, for example. Eggs. So when you cook eggs, they obviously they don't stay moist. So what's the other ingredient? Oil. So all you really have to do is put a little bit of oil into your batter, which I think you already have to anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the ingredients. Just put a little bit more, and that's basically. So what you're like, if you really separate this down to its bare bones, there's two ingredients in mayonnaise, which we established last time because I didn't actually know what all the ingredients were. Eggs and oil. It's not the eggs that are keeping it moist. It's the oil.
So it's egg yolk. So it's not the whites. It's just the egg yolk because you want the density, and either vinegar or lemon juice, depending on, what kind of flavor you want in it. Vinegar for more of a neutral, lemon juice for like more of a zest or a pop of flavor.
Oh, in mayonnaise, not cake.
In mayonnaise.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. I was like, in cake? I don't know about that in cake. Yeah, so I'm not. So I only reason I would ever use mayonnaise, and I don't even often use it for this, is to keep there needs to be some sort of like lubricant to a sandwich, because if you just have bread, meat, and cheese, it can really dry you out.
We're looking at you, Primanti Brothers. We're looking at you.
Oh, Primanti Brothers is the biggest offender.
A fine sandwich. You need. God, you need something wet.
It's so dry. But yeah, so I'll put a little layer of mayonnaise on it. But there's people who love mayonnaise. In Canada, they use mayonnaise instead of ketchup for fries.
Yeah, fancy sauce.
Gross to me. That's gross.
The other because there's a difference. We won't get too much into the Miracle Whip versus Mayo debate, because there's definitely two camps or whatever. But it's whatever floats your boat. And like JT says, it's a lubricant for other things. Hardly ever, besides our friends to the North Canada, Troy and North, is the fact that mayo is an accompaniment, but with French fries, it's more of the centerpiece. Like if you eat like ketchup or whatever, it's a vehicle for that. Like a good fry stands on its own.
Yeah.
See, I like that when you're pouring. That's a pleasing sound. I like hearing that.
That's a bar sound. That's good. But yeah, slamming your beer down, I get it. It's annoying.
I would be
and the microphone's on the table, so
I would be remiss if I said so. We're both queso and salsa guys.
Yeah.
But my favorite dip, and it's not going to be a gotcha moment. 100% is Dean's dip, French onion or onion dip. We found it in the Caymans, and I bought 2 tubs because, like, if I'm gonna slather a sandwich in anything, if Dean's dip is available, Dean's dip is the first thing that's going on. It's the best accompaniment for like dry turkey, like if you're making a cold turkey sandwich after the holidays. We'll go through tubs of Dean's dip. It's my jam. I'll put that stuff on a flip flop. Like that's my. And I don't feel as guilty with the queso dip as with like Dean's dip or whatever, because it doesn't have that Velveeta and that you say that balloons up.
Yeah. Dean's dip, I think, is sour cream based.
Yep, and sour. Somebody a few years back during a Christmas party left a bunch of sour cream dip mixtures, but like the dry powder, and I found them because we put them away or whatever. I found them like 6 months ago. We've been having like the sour cream, and I found like the company that made the spices for the dip, they folded. They're like Bamari Brewing. Yeah. They don't make those anymore. And I was like, these are fantastic. Yeah. These are all runs or whatever, but sour cream based dips for the win.
Yeah, for the win for sure. Yeah, Dean's is fine. I don't want to put it on a sandwich.
Oh, it's so good. It's good on
it. I don't like dry sandwiches.
Angry chair.
Angry chair.
Thoughts?
I do have thoughts. So first we'll go with the Can Art Boner segment, which is brought to you by Stev. Thanks, Stev. Holding strong. So it's Skeleton holding a jar of mayonnaise. He's spreading. Well, it looks like he's cutting into a cake, actually, not spreading anything. So, it's very dark, but there's a cake in there. It's very hard to see. Duke's Mayo and cake. And it's a skeleton.
It's double fisting, a knife and a thing of Duke's Mayo.
Yeah. Usually when you start cutting into things, you put the mayo down. But yeah, he's not. So that's the Can Art Boner segment. I like the amount of information they give here. They're very nice. So when I first got this beer, I first said, okay, Duke's chocolate mayonnaise cake stout. That sounds gross. But then I read the ingredients. Imperial sweet stout with coconut, cacao, marshmallow, and vanilla beans, contains lactose. So I actually don't believe there is mayonnaise in this. But there might be. But I feel like they would have said that in the second part there, not the first part. So I don't know if maybe the coconut and like the vanilla and the lactose are supposed to combine to make some sort of mayonnaise flavor. But I do, or maybe the marshmallow. I feel like I had higher hopes for this beer, to be honest. I thought this beer was going to be rich, more like German chocolate. Very, it was going to bring out the malt char from the stout and add all of this rich chocolatey taste to it. It was going to have that velvety feel. The marshmallows and the lactose would add like a sweetness that's pleasant. And I don't know where this beer is going wrong, whether it's the coconut or the lactose or the marshmallow, but maybe it's a mental thing. I do feel like I'm drinking a mayonnaise flavored beer. And I don't know why. It's, it doesn't smell like what I thought it would smell like. It doesn't smell bad. But the taste is, I can't pinpoint it. What is this taste? It's like, I think the coconut is there. You can taste it. The other stuff blends together to kind of make this like, maybe like maybe it tastes like is, you ever have the sugar-free candy, chocolate candy that's like based with coconut oil or coconut milk or something like that?
No, I can't say I have.
It's I can't remember who makes them. A big company like Dove or something makes the sugar-free chocolate, and this tastes just like that. So the problem that they found with those sugar-free chocolates is that the coconut oil gives you diarrhea. So it's a laxative essentially. Hopefully this beer doesn't do that, but it tastes just like a coconut oil candy. That would be, if you've had that, you know what I'm talking about. If not, maybe try one. Just make sure you're near a bathroom. But I do, and again, it might be mental. I do kind of feel like there's like a Mayo tinge to this, some sort of oily, unhealthy feeling to this beer, just like a thick or viscous oiliness to this beer. It's really interesting, but not interesting enough for me to want to keep drinking it a second time. So I'm at the stout's good, so I'm going to give it a 3.0. I just don't like the underlying breath, the breath that comes out. It has just a taste I don't like. But the flavor of the beer's decent.
How you tied it up nicely is just the hallmark of how you talk through. Like I'm just like, boom, this is my verdict. You know, I'm all about a preamble, and my closing argument is very concise and just like, but you talk through and like connect the dots far better than anyone else on this podcast has ever done.
Oh,
all right.
Thanks.
So I'm going to go to what the explanation of this beer is, and that might bridge some understanding for JT and the Chuggalos here. So anyways, this beer does not have mayonnaise in it. Rather, it's inspired by a popular recipe where it's Duke's chocolate mayonnaise cake. So it's supposed to bridge that gap again to, you know, keep that moisture or whatever, keep that richness vibrant throughout the life of the cake. Marshmallows, again, JT and I have been on record saying marshmallows over lactose. This one has both, which is odd because you don't get that vibrance that carries through. Off the top rope, I'm going to give this a 3.75. I herald JT's. It's not what I expected it was going to be, but that's okay. It can be a pleasant departure from expectations.
Yeah.
This just is too sweet. And again, as not a big sweet tooth or like a chocolatey type guy, everything makes sense here. I like the pairing. I, like JT, also thought that mayonnaise was going to be an accompaniment for this beer, where it was just inspired by something that was regionally, because JT's brought by way of Chuggalo Mom and himself a lot of regionally inspired beers. It's like, if you're from Chicago, you've had this special sort of popcorn or whatever before.
Right.
This is a very regionally inspired, because I don't know if anyone outside the southeastern part of the United States has ever heard of Duke's mayonnaise chocolate cake, but I like that. Take chances, and that's what something that we learned from the Angry Chair website. They're gonna, you know, double guns to everyone. They're gonna do what they want and be avant-garde about it. This is a successful beer. I just don't think it's for JT and I in the long run.
It's a successful beer in that they made it, and they distributed it, and they sold it. In that regards, it's successful.
Yeah, you got to take chances.
Yeah, take chances. I agree. I give them props for taking chances. That is the key here. That too many beers, including some of the ones that I had, just in case we weren't going to do the second beer we're going to do, they're just, okay, you've made another DIPA. Awesome.
They're safe.
It's like Anchorage. I have 3 Anchorage beers in my fridge, and all 3 of them are DIPAs. Now, I'm sure they're different, and I'm sure if I cracked them open on the same day, I would know the differences. But it's just like, come on, branch out.
In Dayton Beer Geeks, Anchorage is causing a lot of strife in Dayton Beer Geeks.
Yeah, because someone asked about that pricey beer, huh?
Did you see my response?
I didn't. Yeah, I did see that you responded, and I think it was just that you tried it, right?
Yeah, but I said the way to enjoy them is to not take a $104 beer home by yourself and expect to get $104 in pleasure. Rather, bring friends or share it with people. Make it a conversation starter. If you need to split it and be like, hey, everyone toss in $30, we're going to split this beer or whatever, that's fine. There's a lot of people out there, and this is a significant launching point. There's a lot of people out there that will say, I'm not going to spend more than $20 on a beer, and are beer snobs. And that's perfectly fine. Like we need to be less tribal about that and welcome everyone to the same table. But just know that if somebody is going out of their way and contributing a lot of that, and you're showing up with like $8 and $9 fines, that's awesome. But know that, you know, there could be angst from inside of that group or whatever, but find ways to enjoy, share it with friends. Like, but don't take that $110 beer home and be like, I'm going to get $110 of enjoyment out of this. You're probably not.
Yeah. And when do you even crack that, you know? Like that, it's, you got to enjoy it with people. Like when, I can't think of the moment where you're like, this event deserves that beer. You know, I just don't know what it would be.
I do like for a couple of the beers that there's specific events or whatever that I, you know, like be it deer camp or people's birthdays or something like that, where I'm like, this is going to be where this beer is for. This is going to be where this beer is for. But like a lot of my 120 minutes or whatever, like if I had a really trying day or like a personal event or something like that, I will I will enjoy that myself. But like there's other beers, but very few. To build on your point, very few. Other than that, it's like, this sounds good. You know, a couple of guys are coming over. Like I'm going over to a place. I'll pull this one off. You know, something to talk about. But
exactly.
A lot of that angst on the Anchorage. You know, like you know, no beer is worth $130. Like maybe for yourself, but share it. You know, create that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, there's some reason why they're charging that price. So it must be worth it.
Yeah, like Bugattis because they can get it.
Yeah, because they can get it. That's true.
All them rappers out there.
Yep.
Beer too, right?
Let's do the next one. Yep, that's right. Here it is. Another Stev beer. Thanks, Stev.
This beer
is Southern Grist Money Moves Milk Stout with peanut butter powder and maple syrup.
Peanut butter powder. Crazy. I didn't know what this beer was until I pulled it out this morning.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
Didn't know. I knew we were going to do Dukes, but I didn't know about this one. Okay.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
God, all the time.
So second stout of the day.
But do you know the defining characteristic of this one? It's only 6.5%.
Oh, wow.
So this is the first one was an imperial pastry. This one's going to be a milk or a sweet stout, which typically skews lower on the scale to get all those milk sugars and that sweetness in there and to not rely on that stout coffee build backbone that you're used to. So this is going to be a much lighter profiled stout.
Yeah.
You can taste it on the palate. Like it's much thinner.
Much lighter.
It vacates immediately where the other one, the Angry Chair, persists a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Peanut butter powder. So there's in like the protein weight gain, weightlifting groups, peanut butter powder is very popular because it will add to your protein drinks without having to use the oils that are in peanut butter.
Is that like the P2 and stuff? Like
Yeah, that stuff. I'm guessing that's what they're talking about here. I don't know how you even make peanut butter powder.
During SOS 10 years ago this month, a buddy of mine, he was a weightlifter. He was what we call a crow, a combat rescue officer. So just chiseled like JT. He looks like JT, except he didn't have the facial features and he was Italian. And he had peanut butter powder. And it's like, but chiseled like you. And just like, you know, he comes through the room. I want that guy. Thank God he's on my side. And he had peanut butter powder. And the first time I ever that was the first time 10 years ago this month that I ran into peanut butter powder. I was like, oh, okay, I'd like to try some. And he goes, yeah, sure, go ahead. And he goes to like get a little canister with water ready. And I just take a spoonful and just stick it in my mouth like an idiot.
Oh, yeah. No.
I didn't realize I was doing like the cinnamon challenge.
Yeah, right.
There was no moisture in my mouth for the next hour. Like,
yeah. Bad idea.
Incredible. It was like this. When I coughed, it was just a cloud of peanut butter powder.
great for smoothies if you're a big smoothie person.
Yep.
You know, or like a fruit smoothies and stuff. Put some peanut butter powder in. Less
we have
calories, I
in
think.
the house now.
Oh, nice.
Because you get that flavor.
Yeah.
This is the texture difference between these two. It's night and day.
Mm-hmm. I will say that this one does come off a little bit stoutier than minus the thickness. This one has more of that kind of malty coffee style flavor to it.
It's interesting because this is classified as a milk sweet stout.
Yeah.
Being lighter or whatever. This is less sweet than that German chocolate cake stout that we had by far. Yeah. And it's because of the pairing. We decided to do 2 stouts. I think on its own, you would get the sweetness or whatever, but we just had a caloric sugar bomb, I'm going to guess. And then this is just, it's just that sweetness isn't there just because of what we had before.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it a lot more. I'll say that. And it might be, I wonder if the contrast is helping this beer. The contrast to the first beer, because it's enjoyable. It's almost thirst quenching because the first beer, it was super sweet and it seemed like maybe it coated the tongue in a way that was just like not dry mouth, but just kind of took your palate out of order for a while.
Do you think we betrayed Stev's by breaking these beers up like we did? Do you think he meant to give us a day? Because I could see the pairing between this and that Liquid Karma. That Liquid Karma is the bomb.com, but
I don't think he meant. I don't think so. I think he's kind of the guy's just like, have him at your leisure.
Yeah, he would never admit it, but
I was over. Wanted us to have them both in the same day, maybe.
Wondering. I was over by Stev's house. I went to. Have you been to Skate World?
No. Oh, is that the roller skating?
It is the roller.
Yeah, we have been there. Yeah.
We took the no beers available there though, unfortunately.
Awful. Yeah, we went there. We had a birthday party there many years ago. It was not my thing. Did you skate?
Oh yeah. So nice. It's interesting because I took a picture and let people know we were recording today. And it's interesting because Chuggalo Ryan, who's a part of the Up North crew, goes, "You guys always record on Tuesdays." Go, not for years, but not for years, buddy.
It's been Mondays.
But yeah, no, we did skate. We opened it up. Wanted to get the girls out there because we're going to be having a birthday party there. But I wanted to have a fun day with the 4 of us or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome idea.
Their pizza, I bring it up. Their pizza close to Beaverview, but Beaverview's was like a magical pizza. You admit, for a bowling alley pizza, that was a 5 out of 5.
I've brought that pizza home before because I wanted my family to try it.
Right. This pizza was trying to be that like thinner crust.
Yeah,
foiled or whatever, they use the rigid roller or whatever on it too, and it was close, but it didn't make it there. But
well, that's a bummer. Speaking of roller skating, have you ever gone back and watched Malcolm in the Middle?
No, I've never seen a full episode of Malcolm in the Middle. I'm aware of the show though.
Okay, the show is, first of all, it did not get the credit that it deserved. It's a highly underrated show. It's great for families and, kids and adults separately. Both my kids have watched it all the way through on their own, and we've watched most episodes. But this was pre-Breaking Bad. Walter White. He's amazing in this show. But there's a whole episode about how he's like a champion roller skater. And he puts on like a full dance. I'm blanking on his name right now. Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yeah. Bryan Cranston and Jane Kasmerick were the 2 leads, and they were dynamite.
Yeah, they won like awards for that. He does like a full choreographed roller skate dance in that episode. It's amazing. But that show's highly underrated.
Stunt double. He does it.
No, he does it. Yeah, he learned how to do it all. There's like lore about that episode.
There was a gal yesterday when we showed up because as no surprise should be to JT, we opened the place. There was this gal that came in, and she was doing like the splits, roller skating. You could tell she had professional wheels on.
Yeah.
And she was just listening to her AirPods, and she was the belle of the ball. And then when the crowd started coming, like all the birthday parties, because it's a place to have, then she had to leave because there wasn't space for her to do what, but she could just, it's
opened it up.
It's amazing seeing people like when they're just magical, like watching JT on the drums. When people are just in their element or whatever, it's awe-inspiring. I could never imagine myself being that in any realm. But like,
everyone has like something that they're, that's their thing. Like, and yeah, when if you roller skate, that's her element,
It is
bringing a bowling ball to a bowling alley. There's all these people who just use the house balls and throw the ball straight, but then you have, people who just know how to bowl and enjoy it. It's your element, It doesn't mean you throw a 300 every time, but that's her element. She brought her own skates, danced.
There's a lot of people with their own skates or whatever, but like just flying around the place, and that's awesome. My home skating rink, because my ouch out to my older sister Nikki, she sent us this gift card for the girls or whatever, and it was nice to use or whatever, and I was sending her pictures and video as the gifter, and she was so jealous because our skating rink here is wood and our home skating rink is concrete, and she's like, oh, I would much rather have the wood than the concrete.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's like they're both hard when you hit them, but people like the wood better for skating.
Yeah, I feel like you don't get scratched up when you fall.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's awesome. It's coming back. It's like an activity you can't use your phone for, other than maybe listening to music.
Oh yeah, people would have their phone out while they were like, I wouldn't take one while we were skating as a family or whatever like that. But when we stopped or whatever.
Oh yeah, you can use your phone, but it's not. It's like an activity where you wouldn't be on it while you're doing it, which is nice.
JT went first on the first beer, so I'm going to go first on the second beer from this gracious donation. Donation that works out from Chuggalos Stev, the number one listener and supporter of our efforts here on the BCP. Money moves. Interesting that we paired with this. This is going to be, I know JT's tipped his hand a little bit. Man,
I didn't really.
Off the top rope, I'm going to give this the same score I gave the first one for different reasons. This is very thin. When I drink stouts, I want something a little bit more hearty. This is an amazing departure. This is going to be an entry level for like a stout, because again, it doesn't have that alcohol bite to it, but like a stout is synonymous with like a coffee backbone or whatever, like a dark, more robust, bitter note. And this has it there, even though it's sweet. I get a little bit of the peanut butter powder. Peanut butter is the most, it's like how a couple of years ago, we would always say that juicy was overused. Peanut butter is probably one of the most overused ingredients in beer because it's one of the most successful selling agreements. Look at peanut butter cups and stuff like that. Everyone's top 5 power play chocolates or whatever. So there's an understanding in the community that people like peanut butter. I get a little bit of here, but it's just the bitterness. I always say not the creaminess, but the husks or the bitterness of the peanut component. And that's fine. I think that's by design because it pairs off well against the milk sugars. I don't get the maple syrup.
Yeah.
Let me go. Yeah, a little bit, maple syrup to me. Maple syrup in stores is very sugarized. That's why you get pure maple syrup and it's a lot thinner, but it elicits more of the maple flavor because it's not mixed down as you will with like all the sugar, like Aunt Jemima or Pearl Milling or whatever it's called now. I'm at a 3.75. These both beers are both an enjoyment in the moment. This much like I wouldn't seek this back out again. That Liquid Karma, though, was the hero out of our Southern Grist series. And I would pay a pretty penny for that one. This one, though, keep it in the fridge, bequeath it to friends when they come over.
Excellent review. Can Art Boner segment brought to you by Chuggalos Stev. Thanks, Stev. I like this can art. It's got that foil money in the back, just dollar signs and money moves words, and it's like
Ted
dripping.
DiBiase.
Maybe maple syrup. Would that be Tennessee? Maybe the state of Tennessee, but dripping with maple syrup, perhaps.
Oh, like if you skewed it, like
yeah,
turned
maybe,
it, because
like that.
yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know,
Maybe.
Nice pull.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, why is it like that? Maybe they ripped a piece of paper off or something. I don't know. Or it's like a scratch off, maybe. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, that's the can art boner segment. Not bad. Not bad can art. I like it. It does draw your eye in. Keep cold, drink fresh, to the moon. So keep cold. I mean, keep it cold, but do you drink it cold? I don't know.
To the moon is that recent, like, that stocks quote, like hold it to the moon. Yeah.
Yeah, and since this is money moves, it makes sense. Yeah, the bitterness, I get the bitterness. I think there is a nuttiness about this beer that doesn't elicit peanut butter, more like what you were saying, like maybe the husk or maybe like the just the oils of the peanut.
Yeah.
Not really peanut butter powder per se. I like the bitterness of this stout in a way, like the bitterness that comes from the stout, the malts and stuff. I like that more than the last beer.
Interesting.
I think this beer has less identity. So the one thing that the previous beer did that this one doesn't is it establishes itself as being unique and having an identity. This one's like, I don't know, it kind of blends in. I wouldn't, if in a week, I'm not going to be able to tell you anything about this beer.
In a week. I was like, we will do a week-long podcast. We'll make that happen.
We will. Yeah, I think it's just a good, and like you said, a good entry-level beer. It's not offensive. It's unobtrusive. It gets you in the door without kicking you out right away. Like there's no bouncer to this beer. It's nice and light. It's definitely less alcohol. Yeah, I don't get the maple either. I don't actually get it at all. I think you said maybe there's a hint. I don't get the maple. I think that if you take the baseline stout here, you got a good foundation to something. You could probably iterate. Maybe it's their foundation better.
Maybe it's their foundation stout and just
maybe. But yeah, I'm not low on it. I'm not high on it. 3.5. It's a fine beer. It's a fine beer. It does its job, and I don't think it's the conversation piece. But not every beer needs to be a conversation piece.
That again, that liquid karma, right, was the
that was the highlight.
Was the winner.
That was really good. Home run. 100%. Now I'm getting full.
Oh yeah, the two stouts like this. Full. The nice thing is, while you were going over your scores or whatever, I've now checked in everything on Untapped and I've updated the spreadsheet. Now I'm done with that. Boom.
Damn.
So now I'm here. I did have one question for you.
Yeah, let's hear it. What's the question?
Baseball related. So if this is going to be sports or whatever, not too much beer related. So this is going to be your disclaimer if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Trevor Bauer has said that he would come back and pitch for the league minimum.
Yeah, amazing.
You are in Cubs ownership.
Yeah.
Would you allow that to happen?
Yeah, 100%. I would have signed him already. I don't understand how he's not signed.
I'm the same way.
Former Cy Young winner. Amazing. I mean, this guy studies the science of pitching more than anyone I've ever seen. Now, I know they all do it behind the scenes, but he has a YouTube channel, and he's the reason why Spider Tack and all that stuff was found out.
Yeah.
Because he basically studies revolutions and the rotation angles. He has this computer program where you could put in the direction of spin and it'll tell you how the ball will move at certain speeds. Like, it's really amazing stuff. The guy studies the game more than anybody. He had an unfortunate event where he was accused of something, and in America, you're innocent until proven guilty, but he was guilty until proven innocent. And even now still, the teams are treating him like he's guilty.
He was exonerated.
He was exonerated. They said that the girl lied, basically. And I think that he should get his chance. And he'll play for the league minimum. I mean, that is a killer deal. And Jonathan Papelbon, former Red Sox pitcher, offered to pay his salary if he fails.
Yep.
He said the Red Sox should sign him, and if he succeeds, they pay it. If he fails at baseball, Jonathan Papelbon will personally pay his salary. We're talking about a guy who used to have a $150 million contract with the Dodgers.
And so, again, he's going to do a 1-year deal because he famously wanted to do 1-year deals. Mm-hmm. He's like, I will make it every year. And he kind of wanted to reset. And I think big business, including pitchers or whatever, they don't want somebody that's going to do 1-year deals because that would reset. You wouldn't get these 12-year deals like, Bobby Witt Jr. or whatever like that.
Yeah, right.
They want to lock them in or whatever, but then you create that. Do 1-year deals, make it incentive laden. I don't, because I was talking with other baseball minds that I respect. Like JT knows way more about baseball than I ever will. Our buddy Juice in our fantasy league knows way more about baseball in all levels, all single A all the way up. And he goes, no way would any front office want to deal with the blowback. And I guess that's the only thing that I'm not like community outrage or whatever. He was completely exonerated, but as like JT said, the unfortunate thing was he was, because of the allegations against him, he was immediately guilty. All of this, it was a private altercation and completely came out exonerated, clean as a whistle, and is having to go overseas to. The guy's a talent, like you said, Cy Young winner.
Yeah, he's talented, and I just don't understand what the if you're a front office, deal with the blowback. That's your job. Your job is to sign players who want you. If you're not in pursuit of a World Series championship, then what are you doing? So, and Trevor Bauer can help you get there, especially if your rotation, has 3 guys who are technically 5s in any other rotation.
The guy on the low end is going to give you 10 wins. He's that.
Yeah, exactly. On the low end, he's going to give you 10 wins. You're going
like you said, I didn't know about the Jonathan Papelbon situation, but that's no risk.
There's incentives here. There's always going to be fans who don't forgive people who got canceled unjustly, because some people just like canceling people and they just like being angry all the time. Like we were talking before this, like who's actually genuinely angry about this Taylor Swift stuff. And I thought this was just like a running joke, but there are people who are genuinely angry. People want to be mad, and they're mad at Trevor Bauer. Fine. Who cares? But once you start winning, all is forgiven. Look at Aroldis Chapman. He has a domestic violence problems, but the Cubs still won the World Series, and you don't hear most of those people complaining. Same people who would complain about Trevor Bauer.
And then now Aroldis is on like his 6th or 7th different team or whatever.
He's fine. Yeah, I mean, and the football's the same way as all these guys with domestic violence. They're back in the game. They're fine.
It's like, I get.
Come on.
It's the one thing I wrote down because, I wanted to get your Trevor Bauer take.
Yeah, it's a good question because I do have strong thoughts about it. I feel like the guy's being unjustly sacrificed. Yeah, railroaded. It's terrible. He's a good pitcher, and as a Cubs fan, I want the Cubs to sign him. I want to win.
And it's the same, like, we just did the Hall of Fame votes, and the NFL and stuff like that. A bunch of Bears got in, so congrats. That's awesome. All justly due, for different reasons, different generations too, which is great. Yeah. Especially with Mongo.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Mongo till his WCW days. But again, to excel and to be at that high level in 2 different endeavors is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But with baseball, and this is the JT thought, and I completely stole it from him. Baseball Hall of Fame is more about the writers now than it is about the players going in.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
People have agendas and vendettas and everything going in, and the bottom line is my opinion. I stole it from JT, and that's why I have to write things down because he can be influential. It's not the Hall of Good Guys. It's the Hall of Fame. What did you do on the diamond? Who cares if you were a little standoffish during, people are different. People don't have to be accommodating. You're not selling the game anymore. The game sells itself. In the 1950s, when the game was written and broadcasted through radio and newspaper, maybe a little bit then, but even then, if you were an amazing player and you didn't just want to talk and you didn't want to give everyone all fucking access and all points of view, that's your own prerogative. If you're amazing at the game and what happened on the diamond, that's what should be reflected in the Hall of Fame vote, not people that are trying to launch their careers in their next 3 weeks of columns against not voting for you as a unanimous Hall of
unanimous
Famer
is one
MVP.
thing. Unanimous is one thing, like how Griffey wasn't unanimous. That's absurd. That's actually, in my opinion, a crime. If you're a baseball writer and you didn't vote for Ken Griffey Jr. on his first ballot, you're a bad journalist. You are committing, I think, an act against your profession. That is so stupid.
We should make a rule.
Yeah, let's make a rule.
If you do that, and Ken Griffey wasn't, if 75% of your peers vote yes, they can revoke your vote. You don't get it.
I like that idea.
It's a lifetime ban.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Because that's your peers being like, if they don't respect or whatever. And you guys could have like the winter meetings or whatever, get together in Tampa, go to a nice luxurious place, because you have a Hall of Fame vote that matters. I know there's like 500 or 600 voters or whatever, but like if you can get up there and make a case and you have a 10-minute window or something like that, if you can't make that case and it was about you and not about the players' accolades, boom, you're done, terminated, whatever. You can go back to whatever rag, but you're no longer a Hall of Fame voter.
I agree. And that's just about the unanimous vote. My stronger opinion, I have a pretty strong that Griffey got robbed. I mean, Mariano Rivera is great, but Ken Griffey Jr. should have been the first unanimous Hall of Famer, without question. But my complaint is with the steroid era guys. How many issues of Sports Illustrated, how many issues of the local newspapers were sold on the backs of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, on the backs of Barry Bonds? And these players were great already before steroids. They were already, those three players in particular, maybe not Palmeiro. Maybe he wasn't going to be a Hall of Famer. But those three guys were going to be Hall of Famers, probably, just based on their hitting. And then they got a little crazy with the steroids. But did they save baseball? Did you sell issues? Did you write about them like they were heroes back then? Like the journalists act like they didn't know. They knew. This is the first time ever that we had 270-pound first baseman. Like, come on, that these guys are doing something. You wrote about it as if they were heroes. You profited and benefited. Your organization got money because you were selling these articles. That's fame. That's what Hall of Fame is. They contributed to the game of baseball in a positive way. Whether or not they had good morals, I don't know.
It's just, there's no better way to. The summer of '98 was magical.
It was. It was awesome.
As a 15-year-old that was just coming into, I couldn't take in enough sports. It was just, my buddy Evan had the chart, the home runs with Sosa and McGwire and everything like that. The summer of '98 was magical, and it was elongated. It wasn't like one game or whatever, but the summer was fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. Everyone knew it was coming.
It's just excellent.
Yeah, it was awesome. What a great season. And so those guys should be in the Hall of Fame because the baseball was dying because of the strike. So they brought it back. Yep. Good question, though.
The other one, it is Super Bowl Sunday. We've talked about Super Bowl snacks. Because I feel like we're in the same thing. The Super Bowl tonight isn't adjusting my sleep schedule. I'm still going to bed at the same time. So I'm not invested in the game, but I'm going to make some bets. So I'm going to put some bets out there. I should have put this out ahead of time and let the Chuggalos help me. But what's your Super Bowl pick?
What's my Super Bowl pick? Well, I think I got to go with the Chiefs, unfortunately. I don't want to pick it. I don't really care, but smart money is better than heart money, hopeful money. Smart money is on the Chiefs.
So the Chiefs right now are a plus 1.5, which feels about right. I'm going with the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs in the over for my bets. I think it's 1.5 or 47.5. So I have the Chiefs on the money line, so just to win, and I have them going over 47.5. I think the defenses, everyone talks about the offenses and all the weapons and everything like that, but there's defensive playmakers on both. These are both loaded rosters.
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah.
They do both from the top down, from the GMs and everyone down. Both well respected organizations.
Yep.
So
they
it feels right.
Teams, and their defenses are good. I think that Patrick Mahomes is better suited, better experienced to defeat a good defense than Brock Purdy. So,
and for me, and you just said, it's the Mahomes factor.
Mm-hmm.
The guy
he's insane.
It's just so he goes, so the Chiefs go.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. And I don't care. We said this earlier. I don't care about Taylor Swift. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's fine. It's good to have famous fans.
This is the only like pre-production we did, and it was great just to hang out and talk a little bit. And we cut into our beers a little bit earlier. If you're bothered by Taylor Swift, you're probably bothered. This is going to be my hot take. I've had a couple of beers by individuals kneeling at the game and calling Kaepernick. If you're going to be that sensitive or whatever, it's obvious that you're way too fragile for football. Maybe take up another sport. Like, again, people are just going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't, whatever. Like, they're happy. Just let it be that way. Like all the conspiracy theorists
they're happy.
Selling vaccines or, voting a certain way or a certain party or whatever, get that, whatever. Like during the commercial breaks, not tonight or whatever, there's going to be commercials that you don't want to see from either party. And this is not affiliated one way or the other. Just take it for what it is. Come on. Like,
yeah, right. Take it for what
I'm over it.
Yeah. I mean, Travis Kelce's obviously being paid by Pfizer. It's not like he got out there and was like, I want to do a Pfizer commercial.
Yeah.
So like, just don't take it personally.
Make money.
And just because they keep flashing to Taylor Swift, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't affect the game at all.
We can evolve. Like when we started this podcast 6 years ago, we would kind of rag on a little bit like breweries that would sell out to the big guys. I remember the first conversation we had, and then Cobra kind of changed my opinion on it. He's like, you get into business to make money. So like your Ballast Point started up and they, their valuation was worth like $200 million. And you saw Ballast Point everywhere. They had a great market share.
Yeah.
Big guys bought them for $1 billion.
Yep.
Like,
perfect. I'd do it. I'd sell out.
Right. And I was like, oh man, but now like even a year or so after that, I was like, yeah, because then the big guys sold off Ballast Point for, $400 million. They took a $600 million loss in a 12-month period. And now Ballast Point, you hardly see them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So right. No one talks about them or anything.
But the original brewmasters, you get into business to make money. And if you sell out or whatever like that, who are we, like, again, the enjoyment or whatever, there's so much to enjoy out there. Anyways, don't yuck other people's yum. It just makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. Don't yuck their yum. There's an episode called that.
And I will be a hypocrite on that. I'm sure on other things that people could smash cut stuff together, but what?
Yeah, it's fine. Who cares?
Don't be overly sensitive. Just,
just enjoy life. Life's
bigger
too
problems
short
in
to
life.
care about Taylor Swift.
My big parlay, JT.
Your big parlay. Let's hear it.
So I have George Kittle. I'll let people know because I've locked this one in. George Kittle going over 49.5 yards. Travis Kelce going over 72.5 yards. Christian McCaffrey going over 89.5 yards. And Isaiah Pacheco, I know that's not how you say it, but I like saying Pacheco, over 67.5.
All right. That's good.
$10 wager, $132 payout if it happens.
I've done parlays like that where you get quarterback yards, and I almost always lose. On the quarterback yards.
My Raven versus Chiefs one, I was losing because I had a 5-leg parlay that was supposed to, and my 250 was on Mahomes, his last completion of the game was to MVS, and MVS bobbled the ball and fell. I made it by a yard and a half. So a $5 bet was $160.
Ooh, nice.
Again, just it's all about fun. It's only gambling if you can't afford to lose it.
It's all about fun. That's right. That's right. Be safe. Gamble safe.
But JT,
that's it.
You gonna go have some Super Bowl snacks?
Gonna have some Super Bowl snacks. I gotta get a haircut, and then I'm gonna get a Super Bowl snack. That's right.
A haircut on you. You look great. A haircut on a Sunday though.
Yeah, there's places open, and I need one because I have conference this week, so I need to be in front of people. Gotta get a haircut.
A little bit tighter. Is it the beard or just the hair?
No, just the hair. Just the hair.
I'll
trim the beard tomorrow.
I'm not cutting the top for a little bit, but the sides will come back before the next time I'm in status. So
yeah. Well, that's good. Keep it low.
Well, that's it.
It looks good. That's it.
Thanks,
266. Buddy. Great episode. Enjoy the Super Bowl. See you guys next week.
We both have the Chiefs going over. Let's see if we're right.
Yep. Adios.